You're clapping because my job is to announce lunch.
There we go.
That's coming next. I just wanted to, on behalf of the destination, welcome you all to Cape Town. The agency I run, Wesgro, is the tourism, trade and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape province. And our job is to position this place as the obvious choice to think about your African strategy and your African business. So the kinds of conversations that we're leading on behalf of our funders in the city of Cape Town, in the province of the Western Cape, they go something like this. Africa is the last great undeveloped market on the planet. By the time my 7-year-old daughter is my age, there will be more than 2 billion consumers on this continent. And that represents a huge market that is largely untapped and largely unserviced for some of the world's biggest multinationals. So we position the African offer at the heart of the pitch that we make. And then we say, we understand there are lots of places that you could look at, lots of countries you could look at to locate your operation to tap into African opportunity. In the end, we think South Africa makes the most sense for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the infrastructure base in this country, and number 2 is the sophisticated institutional structures. So what those means for you as an investor is you can get a lot of reassurance around the ease of doing business and the accountability that the systems have here in South Africa to make sure that your business is run on a fair and dynamic regulatory and legal platform. Once you've decided on South Africa, which we have no doubt you will, then we talk about what is going on here in Cape Town and the Western Cape. Now, this is a pretty special part of this country. It is alone 50% of South Africa's agricultural export potential coming out of the Western Cape. It's also probably got the strongest higher education pipeline of anywhere on the continent, between the combination of UCT, Stellenbosch, CPUT, and UWC. We've got the strongest universities in Africa, and they're particularly training the future talents of the continent. At any one time, there are 10,000 students from the rest of Africa studying at our universities. But we're also the tech capital of Africa. We've got more tech jobs in Cape Town than Lagos and Nairobi, who are our 2 biggest competitors. We've got more tech jobs than Lagos and Nairobi put together. And we're the province where the sectors of the future are emerging. So I mentioned technology, renewable energy, and of course, cannabis, right? So the question, if you are looking for a market or looking for a production or higher end scientific base for your cannabis company, is where do you position yourself to position yourself for the growth of the market in Africa? And I think you'll see if you listen to the fundamentals that we offer as a region here in Cape Town and the Western Cape, that we are incredibly well positioned to service your needs as an investor or an exporter, as a grower or a producer or a processor in the cannabis space. We understand, like many places, the regulatory environment is evolving quickly, but for our team in Wesgro, we've tried to inform and facilitate that conversation with events like this, but also the events, smaller events that we're hosting, matching the regulators with the entrepreneurs that demonstrate the job creation potential of this sector. And they say a week is a long time in politics. I feel like in cannabis, a year is a really, really long time. When we started this strategy in January this year, we really had to convince some of our politicians that it made sense for us to host our first stakeholder engagement on the cannabis economy. They kind of looked like naughty school children when we suggested it. Now, 11 months later, we're firing on all cylinders. We firmly established this sector as one that can potentially bring hundreds and thousands of jobs to our region, and we've done it by showing the potential economic benefits from good regulation, but particularly how this part of Africa can lead not only the regulatory conversation, but also the precision agriculture conversation, also the processing conversation, and how the elements that have brought the medical research, medical technology, biotech industry to Cape Town in a very real way, those elements are what are going to be driving our positioning as a cannabis hub for Africa here in Cape Town and the Western Cape. But in the end, all of these sectors have only emerged around the Cape because we have an ability to position ourselves as the place where the thinking happens. And that's why this conference is so important. We can get people from all over the world to come here and think about and unpack the opportunity for cannabis in Africa. And frankly, it's because of the lifestyle appeal and the destination appeal of Cape Town as a leisure tourist destination. But we leverage it to create this reality that you're now sitting in the business tourism capital of Africa. We host more major association meetings at the CTICC, at the Century City Conference Center, and then extraordinary facilities like this. We host more association meetings than anywhere else in Africa. So you're sitting in the capital of Africa's business tourism space as well. And I'm pleased that in the 11 short months that we've been working on the strategy, positioning ourselves as the cannabis hub for Africa, there's been significant progress. So we already have 2 license holders here in the Cape, one in Paarl and one in Stellenbosch. We helped the city do a very innovative deal where they've offloaded a significant chunk of land just up the west coast around a place called Atlantis to help seed the production capabilities. And the next challenge for us is to really land a regulatory framework and help work with the national regulators that can unlock the economic and job creation potential of this industry. So that's where you come in. We're very glad that you've come to lead some of the thinking here at the conference. And when you leave, please remember our city, our province as a hub for your growing business, not only in production, but also in higher end research, design, product design, and marketing. And remember, Cape Town and the Western Cape as the cannabis hub for Africa. Thank you very much.
All right, Tim Harris, thank you very much. And again, thank